unemployment among people with autism is as high as 90%. Meet John Derry, a local entrepreneur who's aiming to change all of that. John, great to have you on the show.
Great to be here, Dave.
Thanks so much for coming in. So this is really incredible what you're doing, this Rising Tide Car Wash. Let's definitely spend some time talking about it. Tell me how it got started for you.
I'm no different than any other parent. You know, all parents have a concern of what's going to happen to my son or daughter when I'm gone. Yeah, that's why we send our kids to school, and that's why we do whatever we can. But when you have a son or daughter in the spectrum with autism, or with any disability for that matter, it adds a different level of concern. So the way Rising Tide got started is Andrew aged out of the system. And what that means is they're allowed, where we age out at 17 to 18, they age out at 22 years old out of the public school system. And after that, there's really no support systems anymore. There's no opportunity for employment really when it comes down to it as far as adults in the spectrum and adults with autism. There's a 90% unemployment rate among adults with autism, and that makes autism the largest level of unemployment for one singular disability. The spectrum is large. It affects as much as 1 in 50 boys and 1 in 256 girls. Over 500,000 will be entering the workforce over the next 6 years within the spectrum. There's nowhere for them to go. Standard businesses aren't equipped for the soft supports to bring out the capability and the talent for long-term employment.
So this is something that as you're doing your research, as you're coming across these numbers, this has got to be terrifying for you and your family.
It's terrifying for any family like ours. What happens is you're part of the school system, you're part of the nurturing environment, you're part of constantly waiting for you know, magic to happen. You know, magic's just going to happen. My kid's going to be the one that's the genius. He's just going to come out of his shell. All those things can happen. But when they age out of the system and go transition like we all do, they need heavy support. Support far beyond, you know, your standard, you know, like my son Thomas who graduates Bentley. You know, he's capable of going out and getting a job. Might not be the job he wants, but he can get the job.
Right.
They can't really get a job. There's no opportunity. There really is close to none. My stats say that.
So you decided to take it upon yourself to do something about it. You decided to come up with this idea for this car wash. Why a car wash? I know that you're a business guy. I know your background is kind of an entrepreneur. What was it about a car wash that made sense for you?
Well, I am an entrepreneur, and so, you know, as an entrepreneur, you're always looking at businesses your entire life. Anytime you walk into a business, you start trying to dissect it. And, you know, I've gone to the car wash every week for my entire life almost. So a car wash was already in my head. And one of the things I thought when I thought of Andrew, I said he could do this. So the first thought was to buy a car, maybe buy a car wash and employ Andrew. My other son entered the picture and said, let's take it more of a step-by-step research approach. I'll come in, I'll get involved. We'll make this a family situation, and we'll try to help as many as we can, because if we can help Andrew, we can help more like him. Let's build a community. So, you know, young, intense, you know, he's a young man, so he's full of vision and dreams.
Sure.
He adds this tremendous level onto it. I'm like, well, that's great. Then I had another friend said, John, you own a single car wash, you're going to get bored as hell. Why don't you just try to build something for real? So I decided to build it around the disability and use a structured work environment and some of the attributes that are often associated with autism. Keep in mind, anything I say is not an absolute. It's not an absolute because the spectrum is vast.
Right.
It goes from nonverbal all the way to Asperger's side and genius side.
Right.
All right, so I'm speaking in generalities. Generally speaking, a structured work environment works. A car wash can be structured in the finishing process. We also had a mission to employ as much as 80% of our staff within the spectrum. In the finishing part of a car wash, most of the employees reside. We also wanted to create a community. In a car wash, you're creating a community of individuals that are self-supporting each other through the teamwork and the process that we build. Basically, we designed a training methodology along with our consultants, one of which is James Emmett. He's a top corporate consultant. He did the Walgreens disability program, Office Max, etc. We hired him. We enjoined University of Miami Card to help us recruit. Sonny's, which is Sonny's Direct, which is at the end of the commercial in Tamarack, is the largest distributor of car wash equipment in the world. conveyorized car wash equipment in the world.
Right.
He stepped up and gave us the industry credibility, and everything just started really coming together very well. So why the car wash industry? A gut feeling. What it turned into, far, far more than I could have ever imagined through the gut feeling. The simple gut feeling is Andrew can do this. All these other things just grew from it in a very powerful way.
All right, so have you reached your goal? How many autistic employees do you have currently working for you right now?
We have 35 young adults in the spectrum.
Okay.
Those 35 adults, we pay $8 an hour. They make tips. Their average tips right now are above industry average, somewhere between 2 and 3. We're just starting up. Therefore, 35 is just the start. 35 young adults that are mostly in an area of 16 to 22, although we have some individuals as old as 42. We can accommodate their schedules through transition in school, which is helpful. We can bring in a good amount on weekends to help foster a job on weekends. We provide not only gainful employment, but we really provide a home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a place that they own their disability. They own it. It's theirs.
And I want to brag about you guys for a little bit because I came across this. You're the largest single-store retail employer of individuals with autism in the U.S. That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. I'm happy about that, and at the same time, I'm sad.
Right. Sure.
And that's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, because 35, and I'm the largest single retail environment. That it shouldn't be. I want to change that. I want to change the way public's perception is of the way people with autism can be productive and actually can be better employees, top-notch employees in a situation. Again, a car wash lends itself to that. A car wash lends itself to mostly transient people working. It's not a job that people count on, nor really consider, I want to work in a car wash. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Leisure management, obviously. With our individuals, they want to be there. They're happy to be there. We're also able to structure the work environment to deliver a quality product, using their attribute of liking structure and repetitive task. That now becomes a positive as applied to the car wash finishing process. So by applying it, not only are they good employees because they're happy to be there, they're better employees. Their product is consistent. They don't skip steps. They do it the same way every single time. And that's the way an employee should operate. Normally not in a car wash, so we have an advantage.
All right, so really fascinating. Congratulations on what you're doing. We're out of time, but if people want to come, I know it goes very quickly, right? It's like a speed car wash. It's the express car wash, this show.
Okay.
So if people do want to come visit you or get more information, how do they do it?
Well, people should visit us on Facebook.
Right. And
they can come to the wash, which is 7201 North State Road 7. It's about a mile north of Hillsborough on 441.